Welcome to Haltech Elite NSP Training Part 66. This training tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how to program our variable cam control. So depending on what type of engine you're dealing with, you might have an Evo 9 with MyVec, which is the variable cam on our intake cam, a Honda K-Series that has the VTC, or variable cam timing, on our intake gear. You might have a Subaru EJ25 engine with dual AVCS, which is the Subaru language for variable cam. We have to know how to control this within the software. So we're gonna have a target table, we're gonna have our PID gains we have to program, and then we have to understand what exactly we're programming when we're moving around our variable cam timing. We're gonna talk about all of that and how it works within this training module. Let's jump in so we can check this out.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at working with our variable cam programming and tuning within our Haltech Elite using our NSP software. Now, our variable cam control is something we absolutely want to take advantage of with an engine that's equipped with the variable cam from the factory. So an engine like a Honda K-Series, an Evo 9 engine, BMW engines with the Vanos control. We have a Subaru with the AVCS. We have the Ford Coyote engine with the variable cam control on both the intake and exhaust banks. Subaru has it both on the intake and exhaust, depending if it's a WRX or an STI, also depending on which specific year Subaru STI you're referencing. There are a ton of different engines that have variable cam control. What it allows us to do is essentially have the broadest torque curve possible out of our engine. And we can get better fuel economy, better throttle response, and a broader power band. There is no downsides to working with variable cam control. We absolutely want to take advantage of this, and we're going to learn in this tutorial some of the programming details and actually do a demonstration from start to finish, mapping out variable cam control for a Honda K-Series engine. The vehicle I'm sitting in right now is a Honda Civic Si. It's an EP3 chassis. We have a K24 engine that's been swapped into this vehicle. So we're just going to go through and set up the low cam or non-VTEC variable cam mapping and explain how that all works. Let's jump in here and take a look at where we can find our variable cam control. Let's go over some of the general settings. Then we're going to go into the mapping for the variable cam and talk about what we're trying to accomplish. And then we'll go through the demonstration with this vehicle so you can see the process from start to finish. First thing we're going to do here is move over into the navigation tree here on the side. We're going to go down here under engine functions, and this is where we're going to find our cam control section. Now under the cam control, we have a whole bunch of the different things to talk about and to work with here. First thing, in our engine function section here, so the actual cam control configuration section, this is going to be telling Haltech what to expect in terms of the engine you're trying to work with the variable cam control. The number of banks here, well, I have a Honda K-Series engine. It's an inline 4-cylinder engine, so there's a single bank. If we have something like a Subaru EJ25 engine from an STI, you might have 2 banks, depending on what kind of engine you're dealing with. If you have a Ford Coyote engine, that would be 2 banks. If you have a Mitsubishi Evo 9, that would be 1 bank. So this is pretty straightforward, just telling the Haltech how many banks it's going to be dealing with for the control. The next option here under the mode, we have an intake only, exhaust only, or intake and exhaust. So intake only would be an example of it's just controlling the variable cam on the intake gear. This would be, in the case here of a Honda K-Series engine, variable cam control on just the intake cam. We have an Evo 9, would be the same thing. Exhaust only is a little bit more unique. I can't think of any engines off the top of my head with an exhaust only variable cam control, but I'm sure they're out there. Now the last option here, intake and exhaust, this would apply to a newer STI EJ25 engine with dual AVCS control. So it's controlling both the intake and exhaust variable cam movement. A Ford Coyote is another great example here of an intake and exhaust variable cam engine. So depending on what specific engine you're working with and the variable cam control you're trying to accomplish, you'll be programming that here in the mode. Now, the solenoids per camshaft, this is going to be telling how many variable cam solenoids it's expecting to control for the outputs. And what's going to be in our wiring section here, if we take a look, we have 1 variable cam solenoid right now selected here. So if we go back under the cam control, and that's how we have right here the cam control output designated only as a single output control. So we have 1 solenoid we're dealing with. That's just going to tell it right here, depending on what we're selecting, how many solenoids it's going to be sending its pulse width modulated output to. Now we also have our target angle max delta rate. This is going to be how quickly it's going to be chasing the movement in the variable cam. Usually 100 degrees per second is fine in terms of a value to populate here. There's an enable long-term trim, which we definitely want to leave on. This allows the variable cam control to learn what's going on in the short-term adjustment We'll explain this in a little bit. And then it's going to store it to a background table, and that will allow it to have a modifier against the base duty table so that you have a corrected beginning base duty. So when it's making its short-term adjustments in the closed loop for the variable cam control, it's going to be more accurate and more repeatable, so you essentially hit the desired target variable cam movement that you're programming. Again, this will make a little bit more sense, but we usually want to leave enable long-term trim on here. Okay, if we jump down here under...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.